Alright guys, as you can see I got the girls riding shotgun. My dad and I are actually going to go out and shoot the guns today, get ready for turkey season. Jeremiah and Damien, they have something else going on today. Jeremiah's got to work, I think, and Damien, I'm not sure what he's doing, but yeah, we're going to go shoot the guns. I got some turkey targets, whatnot we're going to put out, try different yardages, try different shots, different choke tubes, and see which ones patter the best. I got the Frankie, and then I got Sarah's 20 gauge Remington pump, and then my dad's got the 870 too, so we'll shoot and see how it goes, and maybe afterwards do a little bit of turkey scouting. Otherwise, if we don't do that today, I think tomorrow Jeremiah and I are going to make a trip, try scouting some public land birds, so we'll see how it goes. Look who it is. Oh, Schlitz. Well, I got my sexy slippers on. I forgot my other boots. Alright, I told you guys we'd probably be doing some shooting today for turkey season. My dad and I are out here. Got the turkey guns along. Got a whole bunch of different shells to try. Got heavy shot, XRs, long beards. Got the turkey targets. He already stepped it out at different ranges. Probably gonna shoot 10, 15, or 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and then just for fun, probably 60. See what it's patterning at. Got the 870. I'll be using the Frankie. Try different shots, see what they do, and show you guys the patterns on each shell and each choke tube and see how it does.
Hey guys, we're out in Eau Claire County today shooting turkey guns for the first time of the year. I got the old 870. We popped the sights off of it for duck hunting last year, so we're going to make sure everything's dialed in. Another thing I'm going to start off with is just a trap load, just to make sure we're on paper right away, and it's going to save on your shoulder. It's not going to knock me out of this chair, hopefully, but I don't shoot guns like my son does. But I'm out with the JWD crew, and I'm gonna send one down range, and then we're gonna start throwing turkey loads down the barrel. All right, we're gonna try the first shot at just 10 yards, just like I said, to see if we're on paper and we're centered. And we're gonna send this one down range. It's like I said, a small trap load, 7.5 shot, but at 10 yards we should probably knock that box over or do some damage to it. Well, let's see what it does. I think we need to get a little weight in the box.
That's the result of the trap load at 10 yards.
Oh, we got a little more weight in there, but that's about where you want to be.
Right.
Yeah, it's only 10 yards, but you know, like I said, it's going to cut down on your shoulder abuse. And it's just good to double check your sights. You know, if you take them off your gun, it's not a bad idea to throw a couple of trap loads down range and make an adjustment, and then start throwing the expensive shells down, because if you keep plucking away all day, it's going to add up, or your shoulder will fall off. So let's get a new target on here, and let's shoot it at 20 with a trap or a turkey load and see what happens. Another little tip too, when you're doing this, is to bring a Sharpie or a pen and write all your different ammunition types down, your yardage, your shot size, how much shot, how many ounces, and then when you get time, you can do the number of hits in the spinal cord and the brain, the head area, and that can dictate your next turkey hunt on how far you really can justify taking a shot. Me personally, I don't like shooting over 30, 40 yards tops with a 3-inch. There's a lot of guys out there that say they can kill turkeys at 60, 70 yards consistently, but I'm a big fan of getting them close. So if I miss, I might get a second shot. All right, we're going to try it at 20 now with an old Remington high velocity turkey round. It's an 1 3/4 ounce, 6-shot. And I've had them for quite a while, and I've shot several turkeys with these loads, but I figured I might as well burn one of them up. We've kind of switched over to the Winchester XRs, but this particular gun likes a lot of different loads. It's a Mad Max turkey choke tube and just a Remington 870 3-inch mag. So let's send this Remington shell down range at 20 yards and see what the target looks like. She's got a little more schnuts behind her. 20 yards with a Remington 6-shot. Fiber optics are straight down the barrel. I've never had to move them. The gun shoots true. It's kind of nice, but like I said, we popped the sights off for waterfowl hunting last year, and you got to get out and shoot your gun. You got to double check your equipment, keep it clean, and it's nice, but when you have the real thing in front of you, trust me, your nerves are going to be a little bit more on edge. But if you can hold steady like that, that turkey's not going anywhere.
Grabbing the Sharpie so we can mark on the target the yardage and the shell we're using. That way we know for next time, and it's a good reference.
And one other thing I forgot to tell you guys, use your earplugs whenever you're shooting guns. Never shoot guns without earplugs or some kind of hearing protection. I'm getting old and shot a lot of guns. My hearing's still pretty good, but I'm thankful. I've been pretty fortunate, not had my eardrums blown out yet, but especially when you're practicing, use some kind of hearing protection. And that's your JWD tip of the week. 20 yards with the Remingtons, and that is that's a dead turkey. Let's pop it off and get a real good look at the backside of it. Yeah,
Jellyhead.
There isn't a turkey on the planet that's going to survive that one. A new target on here, and I'll let Weston bark a few rounds off and see what his guns are doing, and then I'm going to maybe try stretching the barrel out to 30, 40, and maybe just for giggles, we'll try maybe a 50 and a 60-yard shot to see what some of them shells do. We got some pretty wicked ones, but like I said, whenever you can close the distance on a bird, I love getting them in as close as I can. You know, like I said, I've missed turkeys before. Everybody does, but you know, you start shooting them at 50, 60, 70 yards, the odds of you getting a second shot off are slim to none. So I like them close and make the first shot count. If you don't, you might have a chance for a follow-up shot.
Get another target on there using the HS turkey targets. Kind of got a nice display. You can see all the pellets in the head and the neck. Shows the spinal cord. They're cheap and they're nice.
Get another one tacked on here and let Weston shoot a couple rounds, and he's got a 20 gauge he wants to shoot in the 12 gauge, so we'll get a target set up here at 20 and I'll run the camera.
Alright guys, got the Frankie today. My dad just shot the 870. We're going to be shooting these Longbeard XR shells like he was just talking about. I'm using the Carlson's choke tube. It's got a 665 constriction. Just got it, shot it a couple times. I'm in love with it already. We're going to shoot a couple times, different distances like he was saying. 20, 30, 40, maybe stretch the barrel for a 60-yard shot to see what it does. Another tip too is if you ever get anybody to let you in on their property, permission-wise, it's always a good thing to pick up your shells when you're done. If you manage to kill a bird, it's always nice to pick them up. You don't want to leave any garbage behind. Plus, it's kind of a nice thing to have. You can always put your turkey beard in there or do whatever. It's kind of a memorable shell, I guess, if you want to call it. But we always pick up all our shells. That way the landowner can't really complain about anything if you're keeping it clean. You never want to litter. But yeah, we'll throw a couple shells down there. Try the Longbeard first, and then I got some triple beard as well. It's got a mix of 5, 6, and 7 shot, and we'll see what they do. Alright guys, like my dad mentioned, it's always a good thing to wear hearing protection. I got these Howard lights. I love them. They're actually really nice. They let in a lot more sound than you would think. It's got a volume control so you can click it on and off. And I mean, these things are impressive. I've been in the woods before, and there's a turkey way off in the distance that sounds like it's 30 yards behind you. They're awesome. Another thing I was going to mention is this gun. I just got it not that long ago. It's actually meant for waterfowl hunting, but you could use it for whatever. It's also inertia driven, so it's super clean. It's not gas. Super nice gun. Never had any problems with it. Never jammed. And it's a mean gun with this choke tube, so we're going to try it out with this XR shell and see what she does at 20 yards. One more thing I forgot to mention is it's very important to be very safe when you're hunting, especially with a loaded gun. If you got more than one shell in the tube, as soon as you shoot with a semi-automatic, that shell's going to come out, it's going to go right back in the chamber, and if that safety's off, you can keep shooting. So if you're on the youth hunt or hunting with the younger generation, doesn't matter. As soon as you shoot, even if you're shooting at a turkey, your nerves are all pumping and excited, make sure the first thing you do is click that safety back on. That way the gun's safe, set it off to the side, and then you can recover your game. Alright guys, that's at 20 yards. And it looks like I could see a pretty good hole right at the back of its neck. Might have been a little bit to the right, but with this choke tube, I'm not kidding. If you move a little bit, I mean a tiny bit, it could throw that shell right off. But take a look at it and see how it looks, and we'll keep shooting, try different shells, and work our way further out and see what they do. As you can see, right here at 20 yards, that's a pretty good hole. Right in there. I almost cut the back of his neck. I mean, it probably almost cut the neck right off. That's at 20 yards. Let's see what it does at further distances. But as you can see, a majority of the pellets are right there. And then you got some more out here, so that's definitely enough to kill a bird. But yeah, you definitely got to make sure you're on target before you squeeze off, because if you move a little bit, that bird could be gone. As you can see, that was devastating. Really nice pattern. This one off, and I'm gonna put a new one on.
Another thing here we're doing is I'm sitting in a little HS seat, and I got the shooting stick. We hunt out of a ground blind quite often, so as I'm trying to get as close to the situation we're going to be in turkey hunting, you know, we do some, you know, stalking on the ground and you just plop down next to a tree. But this setup is just like I used last year in turkey hunt, and if it's the way I might be shooting this year, it's a good idea to practice just in case that scenario comes up again this year.
Another thing I wanted to stress, and I can't stress it enough, is that before the season, make sure you're cleaning your guns throughout the whole year. We don't like to take our guns out of the gun safe and have rust and whatnot. It's just not good for your guns. Bound to fail. It's just not good. So make sure between seasons that you're taking your guns out, checking them, making sure everything's lubed up, good to go, cleaning them. If you have to take the receiver apart, check everything, make sure it's good. Another thing is throughout between the seasons, make sure you're going out shooting your guns, especially kids. If you're taking a kid on a youth hunt, make sure that they're comfortable with the gun they're going to be using. If it's turkey hunting, deer hunting, if it's a shotgun or rifle, make sure they're comfortable. They're not scared of the gun, because something's bound to happen. It's going to be bad. You don't want a kid to ever get hurt. You don't want to wound any game. Our goal as hunters and JWD crew is to go out, make a very clean, ethical shot, manage to dispatch the animal as fast as we can. We never like to see anything suffer. We like to make sure our guns are on. That's why we shoot them throughout the season. Even if it's not deer, duck, turkey season, we like to still go out and make sure our guns are on. That way, when we do go out and during a hunting season, we can make sure we're on target. We're gonna make a clean, ethical shot. We're gonna put the animal down as fast as possible. Next shot we're gonna take is with these triple beards made by Heavy Shot. This is a 12 gauge load, 3-inch. It's got 5, 6, and 7 shot, which is kind of cool. I don't know any other shot shell that makes that. I'm sure there is, but I've never shot anything like it. Not a bad price. They are a little bit more expendy, but we're gonna shoot them. I heard they're really wicked shells, and we'll see how it does. 1,300 feet per second. Gold casing, triple beard lead, 3-inch, 1 3/4 ounce, 5, 6, and 7 shot. See how she patterns at 20 yards. Click the safety right back on as soon as I shot. It's an instinct. It's good to have. So this is that shot, triple beard shot. at 20 yards. As you can see, a lot of the pellets, I mean, they're all over this target, and this target's, I don't know, probably about 10 inches wide or so, maybe a little bit wider. But there's not a lot of shot out here on each side of the box, so it's a pretty good pattern. It's pretty tight. We got one spot right here that's got a lot of pellets right in the small area, and then we got one more right here. But you can see that 5, 6, and 7 shot. It's kind of doing its work, and it's kind of spreading all around.
All right, we're going to try a Winchester double X turkey load. It's a 5-shot. I think it's an 1 3/4, 1 7/8. I'm not sure. It kind of rubbed off. We've had them for a while, but they perform great in this gun. We're going to try it at 30 yards and see what happens. Now that we're getting out there a little bit too, you know, 30 yards isn't real far, but you know, I'm probably going to aim maybe a little bit higher up on the neck, not quite to the top of the head, and see what the pattern does. But you know, you start getting out there at 30, 40 yards, you know, or farther, you know, you're going to have to come up a little bit, because that load's going to start dropping a little bit at it, you know, a longer distance. So I'm probably going to go 3/4 up on the neck and take this shot, and provided it doesn't knock me out of the chair, we'll see what happens. Safety's on. I'm going to throw one round in the barrel, and we're going to try it at 30 yards and see what happens. This is a Winchester number 5. Quite a few pellets in the head and the neck there. That was a 5-shot, so maybe we'll try a couple 6s, and we might even have a couple 4s we can test out and see what happens. But that's still a dead bird at 30 yards. I wouldn't have any problem taking a shot at 30 yards at a turkey if you know he's not going to get any closer. Roughly looking at that target, I would say there's probably 30 to 40 pellets in the head and the neck, just a rough estimate. It can happen, you know, a bird's going to hang up, you know, out there at 30, 40 yards. You know, you've got to know what your gun's doing. You have to get out there, and you got to pattern your gun. You got to find out what that gun likes for ammunition, and go from there. Yeah, that's a dead bird at 30 yards. You can kind of see through the paper there a little bit. You flip it over, it's not so contrasting, and you can get an idea of what the gun's doing. You know, that bird is not going anywhere. He's going to the freezer.
Got the target down at 30 yards now. I'm shooting a Longbeard XR shell, and see what she does. So this is that shot with that Longbeard XR at 30 yards, and I'm actually pretty impressed with the pattern. As you can see, there's probably 50, 60, 70 pellets right here in the head and neck, and if I take it and turn it around, alright, so I got my girlfriend's 870 right here, Remington 870. This is a 20 gauge model. It's a perfect youth gun. It's a good starter gun, especially if you're not used to hunting, turkey hunting. A little bit smaller than a 12 gauge, not much, but it is. One thing you always want to do too is if you got a bead on the end of your gun, you got a rib, make sure you're keeping your eyes true to that rib and you're not pulling your eyes off. So if you move a little bit, move your eyes over that bead or under it, you're moving the gun, and that can throw your shot off completely. You always want to make sure when you're squeezing off too, you never want to jerk the trigger, you never want to flinch, because that could throw that pattern off at a distance, or like a range of like 20, 30 yards. That could throw that pattern off just enough where you can miss the bird or wound it and not have a lethal shot. What my dad and I always love to do, and what other people should really do, is before you shoot, just click the safety off, take a couple deep breaths, make sure you're on target, and take about 3 deep breaths, and then a third one, let about half it out, and just slowly squeeze the trigger, and it'll break. And you should know that breaking point, but the gun still should surprise you when it goes off. And that's how we like to shoot, because usually if you do it that way, you'll be on and hopefully be on target and kill that bird or whatever you're hunting. You got the double X ammo now. I'm trying a couple different ones, 20 gauge, 3-inch, 5-shot, double X, and this is, like I said, Sarah's gun. I just got her this turkey choke. It's by Carlson's. It's not the XR, it's just a regular turkey choke. It doesn't say the constriction on there, but we're gonna shoot it and see what it does. Alright, gun's ready to go. Target's out there at 20 yards. I'm gonna keep my head true to this rib and slowly squeeze, and we'll see what we got for a pattern. This is at 20 yards. This is the 20 gauge. Got a pretty good number of pellets right there. I'd say, I don't know, high 30s, 40s. One really important thing to remember is when you're out hunting, if it's in a blind, against a tree, you always want to make sure you're comfortable. You want to make sure the chair is in a good spot. I mean, you can pick your gun up, look out the blind, and move and make sure you can get on your target. You don't want to be in a spot where you're not comfortable, because then you're going to get fatigued and your muscles can cramp up. But we like to use strut seats, especially if we're out just running and gunning, sitting up against a tree. They're awesome. I mean, it's nice if you're out on public land. You can bring the seat right in, carry it in with you. If you get on a bird, you can plop it right down, kind of make yourself a spot to sit. But these chairs right here, just a small chair we like to use in the blinds. And we like to get comfortable, make sure we're in a good position before anything happens. I don't know if it zooms in or focused, but it's got speedball pellet acceleration. And these are the 20 gauge. Triple beard, 1 1/4 ounce, 5, 6, and 7 shot. But we're gonna throw this in there and take a crack down range and see what she looks like. That's at 20 yards with those triple beard shells. If I turn it around, you can see a lot more of the pattern. There's a lot of them right there, right at the base of the spine, right up to the top of his head. It's a lot of pellets right there. Yeah, I think she'll be happy with that. It should be a dead turkey.
Alright, we're going to take a crack at 40 now with these Winchester Super X 3-inch. It's an 1 ounce and 7/8 shot, number 5. Like I said, we do a lot of hunting out of blinds. So I'm kind of quartering toward the target a little bit, but when you're propped up against a tree sitting in a strut seat or something like that, usually you put your off shoulder toward the turkey, you know, which would be over here, but we're going to be shooting a little bit to the right. So in the chair situation, this particular chair, you feel comfortable sitting at about 10 o'clock to the target. But like I said, if you're propped up against a tree or something like that, usually your best objective is to get your off shoulder pointed right toward the turkey where it'd be coming in. We'll throw this Super X shell in there, and we'll send it down range at 40 yards and see what the 870 does with a Mad Max choke tube in it. Yeah, it's a lethal shot, you know. Yeah, it's starting to stretch the barrel at 40 yards. You know, Winchester makes a really nice round, but you know, that turkey isn't going anywhere. But you know, it's definitely, you're starting to stretch the barrel with a 12 gauge 3-inch. That was one particular round. I got 2 more I'm going to send down range that are a little bit different, see if the gun pattern's good. That particular 870, it likes 4s, 5s, and 6s. They all pattern about the same. But I think with that Mad Max choke tube in there, I think all the shooting we've done over the years with that gun, number 5s are probably about the best shot size for that particular gun and that choke. But you know, we got a handful of pellets in there. It's starting to get a little bit thinner, but it's still a dead bird, provided you don't jerk the trigger.
Alright, this is 40 yards, the Franke shooting a Longbeard XR shell. Gonna try a shell I've never shot before, for turkeys anyways. I use these for waterfowl. These are the Fiocchi Golden Turkey 6-shot. If you guys can see that, it's kind of 1 3/4 ounce and these are flying at 1,325 feet per second. So we're going to take a crack down range at 40 yards and see what they look like. Well, I will not be using the Fiochi turkey load. It's a select few pellets. Alright, target's still out there at 40. Just shot the Fiochis, and this gun I don't think really agrees with those shells. I know Fiochi makes a good shell, but it could be the choke tube, could be the gun. Not real sure. We're kind of just experimenting today, shooting a lot of different shells. So I actually grabbed a triple beard. I'm going to try shooting this now at 40. Shot this at 20 and 30 I believe, but give her a shot at 40 and see how she looks on paper.
Another little thing you can practice if you're taking a kid out hunting or somebody that's never used the gun, recommend that you get them out, that they shoot the gun, practice with it a little bit, take a couple shots, get comfortable with it, make sure they're not scared to death of the gun. But you can go out and you can buy snap caps, practice dud rounds, and they can get a feel for the trigger. You know, shotguns usually have a notorious strong trigger pull on them, but if you want to get a feel for your trigger, you know, dry fire it a couple times. You don't want to sit and do it all day long without a snap cap or something in there. You know, it's probably not great on your firing pin, but you know, here we got an empty gun. Get into your shooting situation, line everything up and dry fire the gun and just get a feel for your trigger. You know, get down on the barrel and just line everything up like you're actually going to take the shot. Take your breath, let about half of it out, and just start squeezing. And that'll give you an idea where your trigger breaks. You know, this is a stock trigger. You know, it's a little bit harder pull. I don't know what it's set at. You know, probably 8 to 11 pounds. I'm not sure, but it's a little stiff. But at least it gives you an idea on where your trigger is set at and when it's going to break.
All right, so for kicks and giggles, we're going to take a crack at 60 yards. I wouldn't like to shoot a turkey like my dad mentioned earlier, that if you can get him closer, the better. It's a lot more exciting too, instead of cracking away out there and trying to drop one. It's fun to have him come in within 10, 15, 20 yards right into the decoys. That, I mean, it gets your adrenaline skyrocketing. But yeah, shooting that Longbeard XR again with the XR choke, 5-shot. I'll take a crack and see what it looks like down there. Not sure what it's going to look like, but hopefully I'll have some pellets. Alright, like I said, I was stretching the barrel, but surprisingly there's a decent amount of pellets. We got, I don't know, 6 to 8 of them right here, a couple of them right there in the spine. So you can see for 60 yards that ain't too bad, but I don't know if I really want to try taking a crack at a turkey that far. Alright, so we're kind of acting out a scenario here that a lot of turkey hunters can run into if you hunt out of ground blinds, just like we do. Got the chair set up, we got the shooting stick, and a lot of turkey hunters actually who hunt out of ground blinds have good success just because the turkeys can be oblivious to ground blinds. It seems like we've had turkeys come in super close, and sometimes they kind of stay out there a little ways, but a lot of times it almost seems like they kind of look past or they don't really see it, and you can get them to come in really close. And we have a scenario here where the turkey is at, say, 10 yards, and we're in the blind. Say we get our decoys out. If the turkey comes in that close, you really want to make sure you draw a really good bead on your gun. You take your time, and if you can, try to stop them, yelp, cut at them, do whatever you have to, and try to make that bird slow down or stop. That way you can make the shot and hopefully paste it, because at 10 yards, that pattern's only going to be about that big. It's going to be super tight, so we'll show you guys, see what it does to this target. Shooting the Longbeard XR again, 5-shot. know if you guys can see, but that's a pretty good hole in his head. I'd say that's a dead turkey.
Same scenario right here, 10-yard shot. You get a bird coming in close. We're gonna bark one off at 10 yards and see what happens. But you know, you're running and gunning through the woods, and you know, you don't have time to get a ground blind set up or your little blind in front of you or any kind of brush or cover. You just, you know, close quarters, you got to make sure you're drawing a straight bead, looking down the barrel, staying down in the gun, and you know, at this range, you know, there's a good chance you could probably take his head off. But if you jerk the trigger, you're going to see a bird running or flying away real quick. He's going to have a bad day. The only trick is trying to get the real live thing to stop their head like that. They're usually constantly moving, but you know, if they come into close quarters or in and out of strut, they're locked in strut where you don't want to shoot them with their neck tight to their body. You know, cut at them a couple times, give them a whistle, something to stick their head up. And just, you know, that split second's all it's going to take, you know, for them to get their head exposed, their neck out there. And you can take a shot like that, and if you shoot a turkey and hit them right there, you might be bringing that turkey home in 2 pieces. Here's another scenario right here. We got high traffic area, some dirt bikes came by, a 4-wheeler, and this is what you don't want to be shooting at downrange. So always be sure of your target and what's beyond it. Safety is always #1 priority.